Welcome everybody to Energize Us. We are a non-for-profit trade school and we're here to build builders as well as build leaders within the skilled trades. And what's interesting is we're going to be doing that in three distinct manners: through education, through professional development, and through media. And this series, where we're going to start breaking down, is our education side of things. So through education, we're going to be the new gold standard when it comes to the skilled trades and apprenticeship training. You may be thinking, why do you say that? Who the heck are you? Well, everybody, my name's Will. I'm your fellow builder, and I'm an electrical contractor here in the state of Connecticut. I'm also licensed in a few other states. And what we've been noticing within the industry as a whole is we need to do better. Why do we say that? Because as of right now, the construction culture is setting you up for failure. And for a lot of people, that could be a shell shock. There's a lot of individuals saying there's nothing wrong with the industry. But I'm telling you from personal experience, there's plenty wrong with the industry, but there's also a beautiful upside to it. The skilled trades can give you a life that you never knew existed. The skilled trades can give you a life that you can support your family and actually enjoy yourselves. And at the end of the day, the work that you do for the end person is always gratifying. You're always going to feel satisfaction knowing that you fixed an issue, that you were able to help someone in a time of need. Either if it's building a new home, either it's fixing a service call like the heater busting out in the middle of the summer, you were a part of someone's life, and that service, that skill that you have, was able to put a smile on someone else's face. And at the end of the day, that's why we're in the skilled trades, because it's rewarding, because we have instant gratification when we fix something. But at the end of the day, the skilled trades can give you a life that you never knew was possible. And that's personally why I am here today. I just truly appreciate everything the trades have given me, the life that I have, and now we want to pass it off to others through education with our non-for-profit trade school. And that's why we're here today. But as we mentioned, how the skilled trades can get better. What are some of the things that we currently see in this industry? Well, we're noticing we have those 30-year-old, 30-year experienced contractors who have nothing to learn. You ever walked up on a job site and somebody said, in my 30 years, I've never seen anything like this. But at the same time, that same individual is like, hey boy, I've been doing this for 30 years. At the same time, they've been in the field for 30 years. There's nothing to tell them. But at the same time, when it's convenient to them, in their 30 years, they've never seen this happen before. What's that teaching us? That's teaching us a sense of arrogance. And with that arrogance comes a way of learning and teaching others. True or not, we all been there. In the skilled trades, we're usually paired up with a journeyman. We're with them for a few months if they don't kick us out. Then hopefully we grow into a position where we're working with them side by side as other journeymen on the job site. But what do we see? Within the industry, we're always being told to do something. The industry doesn't teach you how to learn, how to take accountability, how to be a leader. And that's why in the beginning, when we mentioned it here at Energize Us, we're building builders, we're building leaders. It's because we recognize currently, if you come into the skilled trades, if you come into the trades, right now the industry is going to set you up for failure. And that's because they are just looking for workers. They're just looking for someone to keep their head down and just truck along at work. And for us, we don't like that. And for us, it's not attractive. And now that we're saying, hey, there's a skilled labor shortage. Why is that? Is it because the next generation doesn't come? Or is it because the current generation, those 30-year contractors, I've been doing this for 30 years, have nothing to entice? They have nothing to attract them to. Do you think I want to be stuck with that guy, knowing what I know now? Absolutely not. And what about the skilled trades? We all understand we were all the C or D students. There's a different way of learning. So what we learned on the job site back then has to be tailored, has to be approached differently if we want to attract, but most importantly, retain the workforce coming in when it comes to the next generation. So that's why we say we're going to empower generations through the skilled trades, because we got to empower the current generation to attract and retain the next generation. And with you guys joining us here at Energize Us, we're going to give you a little sneak peek on how we are going to not only attract, but we're going to retain the workforce. Because with my experience, personally, I remember the first time I put a smile on my journeyman's face. As you all aware of, during your apprenticeship, You're tied. You're basically this journeyman shadow. And you're getting either his coffee or you're getting his tools, one or the other. But the one time, and the first time I can remember it right now, clear as day, when he put a smile on his face. It was probably like 3 months in. And you can laugh at me, it took me a while. But once again, we are so used to being told to do something rather than being taught to do something. And what do we happen to see? Well, when we're in the skilled trades, when you're paired up with the journeyman, he's either get my coffee, grab my tools, drive the van, grab this, sweep that. It's always told, told, told. No one sits you down and shows you, hey, this is what we're going to do, because we don't understand it. So they're like, he'll figure it out. Or it's grab this tool. Why? What's it used for? You'll see. Once again, told to do something, we're not taught. And we fast forward, even when you're your own contractor, even when you're a journeyman and you meet an inspector, what do we happen to see? So many times, the inspector shows up to the job site. You know, inspector, just walking around. Once again, 30 years in the field, we have contractors who are 30 years in the field and now they got a badge. So this is a contractor, inspector. You see all this? I wouldn't have done it like that. Cool. What do you want me to do? I want you to change this. Why? It's not against code. Do it because I said so. You see where we're getting at? We have adopted a culture, the construction culture, to now teach you to just do what other people are telling you with no reasoning, with no backing, with no code reference. And that is where the industry is going. And now the next generation's coming in, Gen Z, Gen A, Gen B, whatever you want to call it. They're coming in and saying, I don't want to put up with that. Does that mean they're lazy? Or does that mean we're not attracting, retaining, but at the same time, we just don't know how to communicate with the next generation? So that's why all these different experiences come together. And by the end of today's lesson, you're going to see 7 steps how we are going to tailor our curriculum to not only electricians, plumbers, HVACs, but to everybody within the industry. When it comes to apprentices, foreman training, or even contractors, we have developed our own training method, our own framework, just so you guys can physically, mentally, and emotionally understand every aspect of what the trades truly have to offer, but most importantly, why we're doing the things that we are doing today. So back to my story when I was telling you the first time I put a smile on my journeyman's face. Remember, 3 months in, he's telling me, go grab this, go grab that, go drive here, go clean up. Yes, put my head down and work. Put my head down and grab that. Put my head down and just keep working, keep sweeping, keep driving. I'm doing all the things he's telling me to. In my head, I'm like, okay, eventually this is going to click. And one day it did. We were doing an install where we're doing some EMT runs. We're doing everything surface mounted. We have cinder blocks everywhere. And every time he needed a hammer drill, he grabbed an anchor. And then he grabbed the screw. So it was a sequence. Hammer drill means he's going to drill into the block. I got to get an anchor ready. And for the first 3 months, I'm over here just parts. Give it to him and then wait for the next thing. Give it to him, wait for the next thing. Here's the caveat. One day when he asked for the hammer drill, I grabbed the anchor and the screw at the same time. And when he grabbed the hammer drill, he drilled in the pilot hole. He turned to tell me to grab the plastic anchor. I already had it in my hand. And he looked at it, looked at me, and then smiled. And he said, you're catching on. For me, I was on cloud 9. It was Friday. He gave me $20 to go grab some pizza on my way home. This dude loved me after that. And that's when I recognized the value of sequences. That's when I understood there's an order of operation. And to be efficient, you have to follow a sequence. And that was just my personal experience. And ever since then, I started recognizing patterns. Hey, this, hey, that. What triggers her? What triggers him? Don't say this, don't say that. Follow the order of operation, and guess what? You will be successful in everything you do. With that same mindset, we brought the Energize framework to life. Basically understanding there's an order of operation, just like a job site. For example, can you run water lines? Can you run electrical wires through the studs if they never frame the house? Absolutely not. Can you rough up a commercial project without a set of plans? We understand you cannot. Can you drywall, close up walls, close up the space before an inspection? Absolutely not. Why? Because there's checkpoints, because there's a sequence. So we see, once again, our everyday life as electricians, as plumbers, as HVAC techs, there's a sequence, there's an order of operations. So with that same approach, we can understand there has to be a flow, some continuity between everything, beginning of the project towards the end. And with that in mind, we developed this framework and we broke it down into 7 steps, and we're going to share it with you today. So at the Energize framework, it's basically right here, we have it. The Energize framework. It's a job site inspired teaching method. What's so hard about classroom theory when you start the apprenticeship? Well, we understand, just like as we mentioned before, a lot of us are C and D students. So we don't understand, or we can't sit still, or we learned a different way. That's why the skilled trades attracted us, because you can earn while you learn. But in the skilled trades, sitting down is not our strong suit. Even when you're in the apprenticeship. You're in the apprenticeship, you're learning with your hands during the day, and then you're thrown in a classroom at night for 3 to 4 hours to learn theory. So what's going to happen? You're going to cock back your head and you're going to sleep. And then you don't put too much focus on the education side of things. But what if you can make the education relatable to what you do every day on the job site? So you can have those trips, you can have those experiences in your head as you learn the lesson. Just as we mentioned, the order of operation. So that's going to bring us to our next point. So I just want to share it with you guys. So the overview. What are we going to break down today? Well, here at Energize Us, the Energize framework is a structured real-world learning approach, right? Designed to ensure that tradespeople like you, like me, electricians, plumber, HVAC, carpenters, all trades, learn in the most effective way through experience, order of operation, and job site application. Here's the caveat: experience, order of operation, job site application. Just like the experience I gave you from the beginning. It is a teaching method built by tradespeople for tradespeople, focusing on how the skilled trades are applied in the field rather than just theory knowledge, what is typical apprenticeship training. So this real-world application is going to totally shake up the industry. It's going to be the new gold standard moving forward. Once again, this framework can be used across all trades, including electrical, solar, plumbing, HVAC, and general construction, ensuring that learning is structured, repeatable, and aligned with real-world job site sequences. As we mentioned before, to be the most efficient that you can be, you have to understand sequencing. You have to understand job, order of operations, and there has to be a structure. This is going to later on be applied as you become and work towards your contractor's license and you're running a business and you're trying to scale a business. Once again, this Energize framework applies in all aspects of your career in the skilled trades, as an apprentice, foreman training and leadership, as well as self-development, leadership training when you start working towards your contractor's license. So with this in mind, we are going to start breaking down what are those 7 steps. If you are following along, this is the point where you guys can remember the 7 steps on how we are going to start tailoring this approach, this apprenticeship training to you through the electrical curriculum that you're about to take. Core principles of Energize framework. So as we start going into these steps, we have to understand the why. Why are we doing this? How is this going to benefit me? What's going on? The who, what, where, when, and whys. Because we understand, just like a sequence, it's not about just grabbing the drill. We understand it's not just about doing the work. It's not just about sweeping. It's not just moving on to the next project. We want to build builders, the skill part. We want to build leaders to attract and retain. So how are we going to do that? We need some principles. We need to have a moral compass. Order of operation matters. Just like on a job site, you can't install conduit before the frame is up. The same applies to learning concept. You must build on each other in the right sequence. And guess what happens when you don't? You're going to have to rip it all down. Measure twice, cut once. We want to do this right so we can now pass the job into an inspection point. We can pass the inspection and we can move accordingly on schedule. Hands-on learning, visual experience, application over memorization. The sequence is adaptable. The framework provides a clear learning flow, but it can be adjusted to fit the different trades or industry. So these 7 principles that we're going to jump into when it comes to the Energize framework, we want you to be able to understand that you can move these things around. Because guess what? Some trades may vary from others, but the principles, the concepts are going to apply. So let's jump into them. So now, as we go, we can go to the 7 steps structure of the Energize framework. Let's start with point number 1. If you guys are following along still, trying to take down your notes. Step number 1. The contract. Every project starts with a contract. And what are we going to see with that contract? We're going to set clear expectations, the scope of work, and objectives that must be established before work begins. The contract. So before you even touch a project, before you even bid on it, you have to understand everything that's going on within that contract. These are the terms. This is the invitation to bid. What's expected out of us? What's the time frame? And then you structure, you tailor your entire scope of work to that contract, the terms of that contract. And if you're awarded, then you got it, and then you finally sign off on that contract. So in training, this means defining learning objectives, the skill expectations, and course outcomes. This is so valuable because, true or not, we see individuals who just show up, go to work, go sweep, go drive, go pick up the material. For what? Set clear expectations. So just as you are an apprentice and you want to learn what you're doing, guess what? In our classroom, we're going to understand, hey, we're starting today's lesson off. What is it? The contract for today's lesson is That's today's objective. Now everybody understands fully. In the next hour, we're going to touch on So just like a job site, just before we get our hands dirty, we need to understand It's not just open your books, go do this, go study on your own. No, we're building leaders. Why we see that is an issue in the trades today? Because we see no value in training others. We see no value in giving them the whole scope of work because we're like, he doesn't even understand. He can't even tie your shoes properly. His boots are too clean, right? The construction culture. But guess what? I learned right off the bat, you understand, you break these down, you communicate and articulate what has to get done, people are going to go a lot further because they see the big picture. They see the vision. And vision applies to a lot of people. As apprentices, it couldn't be just, what are we doing today? Paint it out for them, make a roadmap. That's the contract. What is point number 2? So now that you have the contract, now the project begins. Can you guys go to work? We understand, just like we mentioned before, you can't all the time. Why? So just like a new build, you need a solid foundation. Before you build a house, you got to make sure that foundation is intact. Why is that? Because the foundation is what's going to hold the entire unit above. And guess what? You heard the 3 little pigs. You know what the experience is of building a house on sand. Why is it so difficult to build a house in the desert? Because there's not enough solid foundation. So with the foundation, just like a structure needs a strong foundation, tradespeople need core knowledge before they can start working. This is my favorite part, because this understanding the core knowledge is what the apprenticeship training is all about. For many individuals jumping in, we're going to start with level 1 apprenticeship, either in electrical, plumbing, HVAC, whichever lesson you're starting with. Core knowledge is the foundation, the fundamentals. Why? Because this is what's going to separate you in your career. Too often we see individuals in the trade been working 20 to 30 years without a license. And can they be an amazing worker? Of course. There's excellent examples out there of hard-working individuals, but they don't have a license. What does that teach you? They skipped the foundation. They're always going to be an installer. They're always going to be a worker. Remember, if you're just trying to build builders, if you're just trying to hire people, that's fine. You got a man for life now. But here at Energize Us, here with the Energize framework, we're building leaders. We're going to give you the tools that you need so you have that solid foundation so you can become a leader within the industry. So that's why this is so invaluable. So just like you need to understand code, you need to understand the order of operations, you need to understand electrical theory, you need to understand these formulas, these tables, these charts to help you become a licensed contractor, a licensed electrician, a licensed plumber before the work begins, or at the same time, so that you can have the leg up on the competition. This phase includes safety, fundamental principles, tool usage, worksite preparation, all these different things before you even walk on a job site. Let's jump to point number 3. Now that you have a solid foundation, now the concrete slab is down, what do you typically see? The framing goes up. So just like an order of operation, we're following the job site. The structure is built up. Boom! You see a building, you see the skeleton. You now see the house, the building. You see what the potential is, that structure. And you in the trades, if you're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're HVAC, you understand now everything within those walls is yours responsibility. So how does that apply to our apprenticeship training? The structure is where all the core components come together. This means understanding materials, systems, industry best practices, all these different things within that structure that's going to keep it together. That's what we are going to be doing when it comes to our apprenticeship training. So if you guys have been following along so far, what are the first three components to the Energize framework? If you're following along, comment down below. It's the contract is number 1. The foundation is number 2. And the structure is component number 3. All of these things you need to understand. All of these things are in order even before work begins. Isn't that interesting? That's how we're going to tailor our curriculum. That's how we're going to tailor our lessons. So when you show up to a job site, you're going to be like, the foundation's up. Boom. I need to know what's the objective. What are we going to be talking about? What's this? What's that? The structure. What's the codes? What's going on? Ba, 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 ba. So just like on a job site, hey, we're doing finishes today. You know you're towards the end. Hey, we're doing a contract. Ooh, we're over here. Hey, we're at an inspection. Ooh, I know where we're at. You can relate that to your lesson plan. And the lesson plan is going to be structured in a way where you're going to follow along just like you would at any other job site. So the contract, the foundation, the structure are your first 3 components. Stick around. We still got 4 more before we wrap this up. Let's jump to point number 4. So now that we have a structure, you're ready to grab your tools, right? You're ready to jump in and work, especially apprentices. The second they see that structure, the second you wake up at 6 o'clock, you smell that wood, pause. The second you're at that job site and you see, and you get that fresh wood saw cutting, you're drilling holes, you start, ooh, I'm getting ready. Sometimes in the winter, it's over here cold, so you got the sweater, you got the fire going, you're ready to jump to work. But you have to take a minute. Can you just start roping in that house? Can you start roping in that building? Just like what we mentioned before. You can't. Why? Because you need the blueprint. The blueprint is going to tell you exactly what to do, exactly where to put things, exactly where everything's supposed to go. So, the blueprint, point number 4. We're more than halfway there, guys. Point number 4, the blueprint. Before any work starts, professionals follow a plan or the code book to ensure compliance and efficiency. The blueprint, that's the holy grail on the job site. Back home, back in class, back in the office, your holy book is that code book, your NEC, your NFPA, fire protection. The holy grail when it comes to your job site. When you're at the job site, the holy grail is the blueprint. When you're in the office, when you're in class, when you're taking your apprenticeship training, when you're at your license exam, this is your holy grail. This is basically what you need to understand everything when it comes to the trade. So when you get to this point during our apprenticeship program, this phase will focus on reading schematics, understanding industry regulations, codes. Your local AHJ may have different amendments for you to apply. Understand all these things apply to that specific project, applies to you and your licensure. And mapping systems layout. So once again, point number 4, the blueprint. Let's now skip down to point number, I'm so sorry. I thought I missed it for a second. After you have the blueprint, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines, baby. And now we get to go to work. And guess what? During the installation, remember, point 5, this is the hands-on skill building phase where actual trades are applied in real time. Ladies and gentlemen, rev up your engines because you can get to go to work. This is where you start stapling, start roping, you start running those lines. This is where the fun begins, the meat and potatoes. This is why you joined the trades. It's time to get down and dirty. This is where you start busting up those knees. Remember, you're going to hear these old guys, hey, Sonny, take it easy. You know, these knees ain't going to be around much longer. He's over here with the hunchback because of all the work that he's done. This is where the experience comes in. This is where you get dirt under your nails. This is where you make the money. This is where things start clicking for you because now everything's applied. You learn this, you apply it. You follow that rule, you applied it. You're now being exposed to a whole new world. You are Jasmine on Aladdin's carpet. A whole new world. And this is all for you right now because these are the skills that are going to get applied in your controlled environment or that job site. Every installation must follow the best practices, your regulations, the code, as well as safety. So this is where the real meat and potatoes of the lesson plans are. This is where they're going to be talking about how you're going to make a proper slice. How do you bend some conduit? What's voltage drop? What's a short? What's a ground fault? How do you tie in a panel? All these different practical technical skills. This is the hard skills side of things. It's going to be very fun. For example, an electrician installs a service panel, follow torque specs, follows load calculation. All these different things that apply technical to the install. This is where you get to start learning these things. Point number 5, the installation. Now, we wrap up with the last 2, 6 and number 7. And guess what? Just like the order of operation, after you start installing, what do you do next? It's our favorite part. The inspection. Remember, the inspector, 30 years, right? Walks up. I would have done it another way. You see this? Take it out. Put it on the ground. What are you going to do? In every trade, work must be tested and inspected before being signed off. In training, this phase includes, and we break it down once again in the lesson plan, just like an inspector has to sign off on your work, this is where we understand troubleshooting, quality control, real world problem solving. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you follow through on something? It's the quality control side of things. Just like an inspector checks your work, this is how we are going to check our work or whatever problems are in the real world. Now, the project is inspected. The COC is given to you. What do you do with that? The project closeout. Now you can start closing out the job. But is the job completed in this phase? No, it's the process of closing the job out. So just like a project isn't complete until it has it's all finalized, documents, red lines, and then it's officially turned over to the client. In training, this includes your certification, your record keeping, your hours, documenting all these different things so that you are prepared to go for your license exam. Remember, you don't want to be that 30-year-old installer who's stuck in the field because he didn't want to get his education. You don't want to be that 30-year-old, I know it all, but nothing to show for it. You don't want the hurt back. You don't want the bad knees. No, you are in the trades. You are trying to be a leader so you can grow past this whole phase. You want to apply what you learned, go for the certification, go for this closeout, and get that training. Get those certifications, get those cleanups, and build a name for yourself. These are the 7 points. As a recap, what were the 7 points of the Energize framework? If you guys are still following along, comment down below. Show me your notes. I want to hear from you. But let's recap it real quick for you guys. Number 1, do you remember what it is? The contract. You need a contract before you begin work. Number 2, you need a solid foundation. Before a house can be built, you better have a solid foundation. Step number 3, you need to have a structure. The building has to get framed out. Step number 4, you need to have your blueprint. The blueprint is going to tell you where everything in that structure goes. When you have that blueprint, baby, rock and roll, let it rip with point number 5, the installation. After you do your install, who's going to come up and now inspect everything? The inspector, your inspections. After you pass your inspections, what's the final part of the Energize framework? The project closeout. Just like a job site, just like every step you have to experience, every checkpoint you need to pass, every milestone you need to get signed off on, we're going to break down the apprenticeship training each year with this structure in mind. So guess what? When you're in the job site, oh, that's point 1. Oh, that's point 3. Boom, that's point 6. When you're in class, point 1, the contract. Okay, why is this important? It's important because just like a job, I can't even step foot if I don't have a contract. Why is this point? Why is certification so important? Project closeout. Just like a job can't get closed out until it's handed over. Why does installation matter? Why does these codes matter? Because we are going to basically bring the job site to your classroom. And we're going to bring your classroom to your job site to have that continuous cycle, to have that continuous sequence so that you understand truly what the trades have to offer you guys. And I'm truly excited for each and every one of you. Once again, we can repeat the 7 steps of the Energize framework: the contract, the foundation, the structure, the blueprint, the installation, the inspection, and the project closeout. All of these steps are tailored and made directly for you guys, the end user, because we need more builders, but most importantly, we need more leaders within the industry. So how is the Energize framework, how is this going to be used? As we mentioned before, This is going to be applied in all different methods. So if you're joining us for our apprenticeship program, welcome. We can't wait to be working with you and jumping into these topics more in depth with you, especially if you're jumping in with the electrical curriculum program. I'm going to be one of the instructors. I can't wait to be jumping into these parts with you and seeing how we can apply it and keep growing together. But for our apprenticeship programs, teacher, entry-level tradespeople through structured hands-on job site learning. Once again, we're going to apply this in all different facets. If you're looking to become a foreman, if you're looking to become an instructor yourselves, we have the Train the Trainer programs. We have opportunities to give you the skills that you need to teach your workforce, to teach the ones that are in your job site, within your company, within your responsibilities, basically. So we're ensuring that instructors follow the correct sequence and the best practice. If you're looking for your certification, we break this down in our trainings, in our certification, in our test prep, in our different courses like our OSHA, NASEP courses. We break it down so you understand truly what the lesson plan is in detail, and we attack it each phase at a time. Even when it comes to our contractors, we understand and broke down basically what contracting is in 4 of these steps. And guess what? It truly is night and day once you start understanding what these steps are and how you can apply it in your everyday life. Workforce development. Upskills keep tradespeople by focusing on practical skills, not just theory. And everybody, most importantly, why the Energize framework matters. This is what is going to put it all together. Why should you adopt this? Why should you even listen? Because it's built for tradespeople. The method was designed by tradespeople for tradespeople, ensuring it aligns with how the field actually operates. Once again, by tradespeople for tradespeople. We are having too many individuals, white collar, speaking on what the industry needs. We need more leaders to speak up. We need more tradespeople to do what's right. We need more tradespeople to learn these skills. Don't become that 30-year-old contractor with experience only working and doesn't want to grow. He has no value to give. It creates stronger workers. Tradespeople trained under this framework will retain more knowledge, perform tasks efficiently, and work more safer because they understand what each step is. And here's the fun part with accountability. If you skip a step, you now know where you went wrong. You can always retract and understand where you currently are and adapt. It's adaptable. Electrical, solar, plumbing, HVAC, or general contracting, this framework follows the natural job site workflow. Everybody has to go through a contract. Everybody needs a solid foundation. Everybody needs a blueprint. Everybody needs a structure. Everybody needs inspections. So whichever trade you're at, the Energize framework is coming to you. It standardizes training. Instead of scattered lessons, we're following a structured approach and ensures consistency across all different programs. Just like what we mentioned before, you can't just go to the next step without learning the ABCs. You can't run before you walk. Just like the curriculum, how it's so messy. Sometimes it talks about this, it doesn't apply here. Why are you learning load calculations in first year? All these different things needs to have a sequence. And we're going to break that down with you with the Energize framework. By implementing the Energize framework, we're creating a new standard for what the trades education has to truly offer. Once again, I'm telling you, I'm going to see you and you're going to replay this video years from now. The Energize framework will be the gold standard when it comes to apprenticeship training. And guess what? It's because it's made by tradespeople for tradespeople. It's made with individuals who are currently in the field, grew their business to a capacity. Once again, they see the value of what the trades have to offer. This is not just a job. This is not just an after-school curricular activity we're doing. We understand what the trades have to offer. We see that you are interested, and we are going to take you to the top. When I tell you in the next few months, we are going to change the industry together, it's because programs like these, the Energize framework, applying it with you guys contractors apprentices throughout the US, we are going to shake up the industry. And I can't wait to join that and do that with you guys here today. Once again, I appreciate each and every one of you for joining us today. I can't wait to see you in class. I can't wait to build builders and build leaders with you guys, because the trades need your help. Remember from the beginning, the trades as it stands right now is set up for failure. But the second you sign up, this reason that you're here today is because you see what the trades have to offer. And I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to work with you. I can't wait to be on the site with you. And every day we're going to work together and we're going to build leaders together, because that's what the trades have to offer. So thank you everybody for participating. Thank you everybody for joining us today and understanding the Energize framework, the 7 components on why this is going to be the new gold standard when it comes to the skill trades.